In this video, I want to go over everything you should know as a beginner in IdleOn. In no particular order, I'm just going to start with the character creation. So you're going to be getting a choice of 3 classes when you start. But before we get to that point, you're going to get a, I can't show you because I don't have any character slots here that are free, but you're going to get a choice of a hat, a gender, and a star sign. So the gender doesn't matter, just pick whichever. The hat doesn't matter because you're going to be getting a new one anyway. And as far as the star sign, it also doesn't really matter that much because you're going to get better ones later. But if you're not sure on the star sign, I would go with the fuzzy dice, which gives you talent points and luck, because those are useful for every class. Now, as we get into the game, first things first, you're going to be able to get a new hat if you come over here to the bird, which is why it didn't matter which hat you picked. If you just type give me hat, you're going to get a hat. And this is better than any of the other ones. It gives you 6 defense, 4 wisdom, 2 strength. I never really used it because I didn't know, but so that's what I'm telling you, so now you do know. So you're going to do that, and then you're going to talk to Scripticus, and he's going to be your main quest giver in World 1. So just talk to him, do whatever he wants you to do, and the main quests are especially important. There's 2 kinds of quests. There's going to be a main quest and side quest. Focus on the main quest first, because that's going to give you, usually it'll give you the best rewards. It'll give you inventory bags and storage chest upgrades for your storage chest. There are some side quests that are definitely worth doing, but I'm not going to try and cover every single one. But just in general, the pigs, any of the pigs quests, you should do those because those give stamps. And yeah, look at the wiki. I would just say look at the wiki, honestly. If you're not sure and you want to do some more quests, look at the wiki. But some of the quests are absolute trash that I wouldn't recommend doing. Some of them will just require a lot of materials and you won't get that much reward for it. So you gotta be careful which ones you actually want to commit to. And the quests are only on, quests are character based. So if you do a quest on one character, it's not gonna count for the other character. So just something to keep in mind. Now, starting in just Blender Hills here, there's a lot of different things going on. Starting up here, there's Statue Man. So if you open the shop here, there's gonna be a chisel in here. You can buy right here, and this is gonna let you give statues to Statue Man. So what statues do is they give you all kinds of various different boosts. Statues can come from anywhere, just about. You can get them from gathering, you can get them from killing. So you're going to be getting a ton of them, and you're going to want to be able to make use of them. So buy this once you can, and here I'll just show you. So buy it, and then you're going to come over to him, and you're going to drag it and drop it, and then it's going to let you deposit statues, and then you can just pick deposit all, and that's how it works. Now later you'll get a gold statue, which means that your statue bonuses will apply to all your characters. But until then, it's just going to be for each different character. Each character is going to have their own statues and their own bonuses. Now next thing you want to do is, I guess we can just go in order here. So here's the companion park. This is something new they just added, but this is quite useful. You can only do this once a week. You can try and get a companion here, and they'll give a little bit of boost to different kinds of stats. But anyway, you only can do this once a week unless you want to spend money on it, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. And then over here is the stamp guy. I don't know what his name is, Piggy Bank or something. But anyway, this is really important. And so any stamps you get, stamps are kind of like statues. You're going to get them from all different kinds of places. From gathering, from killing, from doing the quest. The pig quest will give you stamps. Stamps take money and resources to level up, and they give you all different kinds of boosts, just like the statues do. So always try and upgrade your stamps if you're able to. There's 3 different categories, and then there's also bribes. Bribes will give you various different boosts as well, and just keep an eye out for those. If you can afford them, then they're usually worth getting. Now, moving on to Grasslands Gary, can't forget about him. So here you're going to be able to do all kinds of different tasks, which are going to give you merits, which you can spend in a merit shop, and these are going to give you a lot of different boosts to your account. So I'd first start out with hemoglobin, because this is going to let you heal every time you kill a monster, and this is really big early on, because the only other way you're going to be able to heal is with food, and food is kind of expensive, and you just might not want to deal with it. So if you have this talent, then you can get heal without having to need food. And then from there, I would definitely go and pick this up. So all your inventory slots, or not all of them, but some of your inventory bags that you're going to get are going to apply to your other characters. So that's going to be really convenient, and I would just max that out. And then after that, it's just kind of your choice. Just pick whatever you want after that. And then here, if you click right here, there's achievements. Don't worry about these too much early on, but as you have less and less things to do, you might want to start prioritizing getting some achievements out of the way. You can get various different things from that. And over here, you can unlock recipes, which will let you make a lot of different things in the blacksmith, or in the anvil. So you want to make sure you're doing this also, so you're getting stronger equipment. Now moving on down here to the forge. This is where you're going to be able to turn your ore into bars. So it's pretty self-explanatory. You just put ores in here and you get bars out of it. And you can also upgrade it. So you'll get the ores made faster, or the bars made faster, I mean. So yeah, do that if you have the money for it. And then over here is the anvil. This is where you're going to be able to make all your different kinds of equipment, and everything you'll ever need really is going to be done in the anvil. And then over here you get your anvil production items. So you're going to be able to produce one item at first, and then as you unlock various different things, you're going to be able to produce up to 3 items at a time. And you can also buy more anvil points on here. You can spend anvil points right here, which I recommend putting all into speed, so that way you're able to produce items a lot faster. Now, moving on from there, you have the storage chest, which is very important, and you're going to want to upgrade this into gem shop. So you're going to get bigger storage capacity, and it's going to be really important to store all your items you're going to be in. Now, moving on to the shop, there's going to be a shop. There's going to be many different shopkeepers, and this one's going to be the first one you come in contact with, and you're going to want to buy hot dogs. And why are you going to want to buy hot dogs? Because you're going to need them later to make peanuts. And what peanuts do is they let you make golden peanuts. And what golden peanuts do is they're going to be needed for a quest later on. But more importantly, they're going to give you mining efficiency. So the golden peanut you're going to use for your miners. And so you're going to want to have hot dogs to make the golden peanuts. Now, you're probably not going to want to buy a ton of these right away because you're not going to have that much money. But as you have more money, you're going to want to buy these, because you can only buy so many a day. As you can see, there's a limited stock and it refreshes each day. So you're going to want to buy various different things. And another thing you might want to buy is the potions. The mana and health potions especially are needed in some recipes, and so you might want to have them stocked up. Another thing you might want is barrels or the upgrade stones even. This ring is pretty useful. You're not going to be getting too many rings early on, so you might want that. One on each character, or actually 2 on each character you can have. And as you can see, there's only a stock of 1, so you're not going to be able to buy them all in just one day, even if you had the money. So you're going to have to check back here often. There's also stamps. Get these immediately. You only need 1 of these. And there's also inventory bags. You want to make sure you have these on all your characters. Buy storage chest. And the teleports, these are going to be really useful. Buy these if you can. These are only going to let you teleport back to town. but it's very useful to save on some global teleports. Talent fragment, reset points, buy these every day, no matter what, just keep buying them, you're gonna need them. And that pretty much covers the shop. Now moving on to professions, you're gonna have 3 real professions when you're starting out early, but there's gonna be a lot more later. But all you need to know for now is there's gonna be mining, chopping, and Archer specializes in smithing. So you got mining, chopping, and smithing. So that means you want to have one of each class to start out with. You want to have a warrior for mining, you want to have a mage for chopping, and you want to have an archer for smithing. Now, after that, you can kind of just do whatever you want in terms of classes. But generally, it's still best to have like a variety of each class. You don't want to just have like 4 mages and just 1 warrior, for example. It's good to have a variety of all the 3 different classes. So you're gonna have your mining, and this is all done in World 1. All the mining is right here, and you're gonna be able to do some mining quests, and you're just gonna get your ore. You're gonna want to do this on a warrior, like I said, and you can get your ore and you can throw it in the forge to get your bars that you're gonna need. And then you're gonna have your chopping, which you're also going to be able to do right away. Just in the first area, you're going to find your first tree. There's going to be a lot of different trees. So you're going to want to have a mage to do this. And then for your smithing is something that you just do in town, really. It's pretty easy. You can gain XP from that, not only from crafting items, but from the production materials as well. A few other things to keep in mind is there's also going to be mini-game plays, which you can see I've already used all mine, so I can't show you. But you're going to get just a few of these a day to start out with, and you can buy more in the gem shop. Now, what the mini-game plays are for is they will give you more resources. So you're going to be playing a little mini-game, and all the mini-games are different depending on whether you're chopping, mining. There isn't a smithing mini-game, but there's also a catching minigame, but you're not going to get catching until World 2. But the minigames, they give you a lot of XP and they give you a lot of resources at once. So if you need resources quickly, this can be a good way to get it. And another thing to keep in mind is you're going to want tools. So you're going to need good tools to efficiently get all these resources. The only thing that doesn't need a tool is smithing. But everything else, mining is going to need a pickaxe, chopping's going to need an axe, fishing's going to need a fishing rod, catching's going to need a net, so on and so forth. So you're going to want to make sure you have good tools, but again, you only need, for example, if I'm on a mage, I only need to have a good axe. So a mage, I'm going to want to have a good axe. My warrior, I'm going to want to have a good pickaxe. Because you generally don't want to mix the professions, though it can be good to level up for example, your chopping even on a warrior a little bit, just so you can get more talent points. Because for every skill level you gain, you also gain a talent point. So you might want to level up secondary skills just a little bit anyway. But the important thing is that you have a good, strong tool for whatever that class is supposed to be good at. Now, another really important thing that I need to cover is defense and accuracy. So, defense is gonna lower the amount of damage you take, and ideally you want to have enough defense to where you're not taking any damage from the monster. As you can see here, I have 100% survivability, and that doesn't necessarily mean I won't take any damage, it just means I won't die at all. So, defense and survivability are different things, because even though I might take damage, if I have food, for example, that'll out-heal the damage I'm taking, my survivability can be 100%. But in this menu, it also will show the amount of defense you need to not take any damage, usually. But in the case where you already have enough, then it won't show anything for your defense, or as long as you have 100% survivability, then you're fine. Now your accuracy, normally down here it'll show if you have enough accuracy or not, but what it's shown here instead is multi-kill, which is a different thing, which I'm not going to talk about right now. But another way to check it is if you go in the cards, you can see here, okay, here you can see accuracy. This is the amount of accuracy I need to hit this monster 100% of the time. So in this case, for the slime, I need 6 accuracy. For the carrot, I would need 15 accuracy. So it's important to make sure you have enough accuracy, and the way you get accuracy is dependent on what class you are. So if I go in here to my talents, you can see here it says strength is accuracy for archers, agility is accuracy for mages, and wisdom is accuracy for warriors. So it's going to depend on what class you are. But you can see here, since I'm a mage, I went all into wisdom for damage, and then I went secondary into agility to boost my accuracy. So that's something really important to keep in mind, because you don't want to be missing, because that's just going to lower your AFK gains, and it's just going to make everything a lot slower. So you want to make sure you're hitting 100% of the time. Now when you get to level 10 and you're in Froggy Fields map, or sorry, not Froggy Fields, but the Bored Beans map, there's going to be a new NPC, Prometheus, and at level 10 you're going to be able to pick your first class. So there's going to be a choice between, as I've said before, there's going to be warrior, archer, and mage. So it's really important that you pick a good composition. So you don't want to just pick what's going to be useful right now. You want to pick what's going to be good for your account as a whole, because there's no way to change what your main class is, and there's a way to change your subclass, which is a completely different thing. But as far as changing your main class, there's no way to change it. The only way to get a new main class is make a new character, but you only have a certain number of character slots. So you don't want to just make all your characters warriors, for example, because then you're not going to be good at chopping. So for your first character, it really doesn't matter. You can pick any of the 3, warrior, archer, or mage, because they're all going to be useful. You're going to want to have at least one of each of them. But ideally, you're going to want to have, multiple of each of them as you unlock more characters. So just keep that in mind. You can't change. Once you pick your class from Prometheus, you're stuck with it forever. I don't know why he did it that way, but that's just how it is. Maybe later, I hope he'll change this, so there's at least some way to change your main class, but right now, there's no way to change it. So you gotta think carefully before you pick what class you want to be. Okay, now a few other things I want to cover in the menu is, if you go in the menu here, so here you can buy auto loot. If you have to buy this, but this is pretty nice. It'll just make it so your materials, whenever you get a material, it'll just auto loot. If we can get something drop here, I can show you. So I'm not gonna click on it. It's just gonna automatically loot it. So that's pretty nice. It's not mandatory at all, but if you want to spend some money, that would be the first thing I would buy. Here you can change your servers. I don't usually mess with this, but if you just want to go to a particular server for some reason, say there's a lag or whatever, you can just pick whatever server you want. Here you can change from any of your players. So yeah, that's pretty useful. And here you can see your AFK info, how many kills you're getting, how much XP you're getting, and your AFK gains rate. So what is your AFK gains rate? This is when you're logged out and you're not in the game. This is the percentage of materials and stuff you're going to be getting. So if you're in the game, you're going to be getting 100% of your materials and your money. You're going to get everything. But if you're logged out, you're only going to get this percentage. You're not going to get 100%. You can boost this with different talents like this. It's going to increase your AFK gains. So those are very good to get. It also shows you your money here and your survivability, how much health the monster has, and odds of getting a card, as well as a few other things. Moving on to the gem shop. Here you can spend your gems. Gems you're gonna get from all kinds of various places. You can get them from quests. You can get them just a drop. They can drop from monsters. They can get them in the Coliseum. But yeah, here's where you spend your gems. And I'm not gonna make a whole video about the gem shop, but I could. But somebody has already made a video about this, talking about every single upgrade. So I will link that. His name is GriffyBit, and he makes really good IdleOn videos. So I'll link his video going over the gem shop. Okay, now moving into the options. This is pretty important stuff in here. I recommend just turning everything on. This is a big one right here. Use attack start and auto. If you don't have that, then when auto is on, he won't use any of his abilities. And yeah, if you didn't know, you can just go in here and pick assign attacks and just drag them on your action bar. Oh crap. Just like that, and now he'll use them as long as you have this option on. But yeah, I recommend just turning everything on other than the blur filter. Then that's just really personal choice. If you want it, just makes things look kind of blurry. I don't really like it that much, but if you want it, you can just turn that on. And then new stuff, he just talks about new things that came in the game, if you're interested in that. Now I want to talk about the Coliseum briefly. So what is a Coliseum? The Coliseum is over here. There's going to be one Coliseum for each world, and you're going to be able to do it by getting tickets by talking to this guy. You'll get one ticket every day. You have to do his quest line first. It's really short, just like kill some frogs or something, and then he'll give you the Coliseum ticket. And I'll go ahead and show you. No, I don't want to show you because it'll take too long. But the Coliseum is just basically you fight a bunch of enemies. You fight a bunch of enemies and waves. I guess I can show you. I'll show you real quick. So yeah, you fight a bunch of things. You can just set it on auto, or you can do it manually if you want. So yeah, you fight enemies and you get a score, and then based on your score, you get different items. So yeah, I think that's how it works anyway. Like the higher your score you get, the better quality items you get, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I would think that's how it works. The most important thing is that you clear the whole Coliseum. Like if you die, then you'll just get teleported back to town. So that's no good. And if you run out of time, also here you can see your time. If you run out of time, you get some reward, but not as much as if you clear the whole thing. So that's basically how the Coliseum works, and there's going to be a mini boss at the end, and here you can see you can pick end run or next round. End run is just if you just want to end a run for whatever reason, or you can pick next round, and it'll spawn more enemies. The more enemies on the screen, the faster your score drops, but you'll also be able to kill more enemies in theory, as long as your damage is high enough. So it kind of evens out. So that's the Coliseum. It's quite useful to get some materials, but it's not super important if you don't want to do it, because it does take some time to do. Okay, moving on to the talents. I want to talk about talents briefly. You're going to be able to get, at first, just one talent spec, but later on, I think it's like level 30 or something, you're going to get a second spec. But anyway, what I recommend doing is for your first spec, pick something that's going to be good for your damage, and then for your second spec, pick something for your profession. So in this case, I just have everything in the damage, as you can see here, AFK gains, sharpened axe, and then a bunch of attack abilities. And then for my second spec, I just have everything to like chop in, or just whatever class appropriate gather and stuff you can do. So now I want to talk about a few other things in the menu here. Let's start with the map. So the map is pretty self-explanatory. But you can see all the yellow dots, those are areas I've unlocked, so I can just teleport to those whenever I want. And it's going to use up your teleport. Now, you're not going to have very many teleports when you just start out, so you do want to ration them a bit, but you can increase this by, in the gem shop, there's something that will give you more daily teleports, which I recommend getting at least 1 point into, or 1 purchase of. So that way you can just teleport wherever you want. And then the gray areas, that means you haven't unlocked that area yet. So now, talking about the next thing is the Codex. So there's a lot of different things in the Codex. First, there's going to be your quest, there's your quest in progress, and there's also quests you've completed. So the main quests are highlighted in yellow, and then all the other quests are just gray. And then you can see which quest you're tracking with the Q letter here. You can see I can take it off the helper and then that'll disappear. I can also abandon the quest. And then there's also hints. So this can be kind of useful if you're not sure about something. You can just look in here. Quick ref. This is a huge thing that I overlooked. And this is really, really useful because you can view all sorts of various things here, like the Anvil, without having to go back to town. So quick ref is really, really important. You can even open your storage, you can view all your items, and you can even put in money. There's also, you can view task board, obels, everything, pretty much everything you've unlocked. And then there's also cards. Cards are really, really important. You get cards from killing enemies or from gathering. Like you can see here, there's ones from gathering ore, there's one from chopping trees, there's ones from gathering fish, or just killing enemies in different areas. So just read over what all the cards do and equip the one that's going to help you the most. You can unlock more card slots in the gem shop. You're initially just going to start with, I believe it's 4 card slots, and then you can unlock the other 4 with the gem shop. Here in the family tree, this is kind of useless, but you can just view different family bonuses that you get. So the bigger variety of characters you have and like all the different classes you have, you're going to get different bonuses to all your characters. So that goes back to what I was saying about having a big variety of characters. And then here you can view your friends list. Pretty self-explanatory. And here you can join a guild. Guilds are pretty useful because you can get various different bonuses. Like you can see here, here it is, bonuses. So you're going to be able to unlock different bonuses, but unless you're the guild leader, you don't get to directly pick which one you're getting. You can just kind of set a preference and hope that they listen to you. But anyway, you're going to get some kind of bonus by joining a guild, so you might as well do it. And since we're here, I'll talk about dungeons now. Okay, so here we are in the Froggy Field map, in the dungeon area now. And this is where you can do your first dungeon at. And what a dungeon is so you need to be in a party to enter, but you actually don't need to be in a party with other people. You can actually just make your own party right here, and then you can enter the dungeon. So the dungeons are really important because they're going to give you all kinds of different bonuses. But first you have to beat the dungeon. So how do you beat the dungeon? You gotta, so there's these different orbs you can drop, and they'll give you different temporary buffs just inside the dungeon. And so you can just click to get the different buffs. And then as you kill monsters, you can see I'm gonna break the hut, and then a bunch of monsters are gonna spawn. And then there's gonna be different items spawning and different materials spawning. And you can see above the cauldron, I gotta find these items to drop in the cauldron, and that's going to spawn more monsters and eventually a boss. So as you make your way to the dungeon and complete the dungeon, you're going to get these special currencies called flare bows, and those are going to be used to buy things that are going to be useful outside of dungeons. Now, inside the dungeon, there's also a shop that you can buy weapons, armor, and jewelry, but these are only for while you're inside the dungeon, and once the dungeon is over, once this timer expires, then these are all gone. It's just temporary stuff just to help you through the dungeon. So that's pretty much how dungeons work. And then once you have enough of the currency here, the purple currency is the one you really care about. The blue one, the blue currency, you can buy temporary boost and things that are going to help you clear the dungeon faster. But the purple ones are going to give you permanent things that are going to be useful outside of the dungeon. So you can see here you can get different kinds of jewelry, talent points, more jewelry, and you can get passive stat increases, which apply to all your characters, so you don't have to do a dungeon on every single character. You can just pick one character and buy the bonuses, and all your characters will get them. Now I thought it'd be important to briefly talk about food. So there's different kinds of food. There's health food and there's boost food. Well, and there's actually golden food, so there's 3. Health food is just going to heal you when you get low health. As you can see here, it says when your health goes below 50%, it's going to restore health, and it has a cooldown. So these are not only useful when you're actually playing the game, but these will be used up when you're even offline. So if you want to make sure you have enough food stocked up so you can survive even while you're offline, because if you run out of food, then when you log back in, you're not going to have as much AFK gains or as much reward if you ran out of food. So then there's also boost food, which gives all kinds of various different bonuses to your damage or to your health, mana, all kinds of things, and these can also be used up. You can see this one has a 10% chance to be consumed every time I kill a monster, and these will also be used up even if you're offline, but they also help you if you're offline, so they're still good to have. And then there's also golden food, which is never used up, but they're a lot harder to get. They're much more rare, but they can be gotten from all kinds of different places. Like, you can just get them as a drop. Some quests will give them, but golden foods are really, really nice because they never get used up. Now I want to briefly talk about a few things to do with the inventory. So you can view how many inventory bags you have here, and a lot of these are character specific. Most of them are, except for the task. There's a task unlock you can get that will make some of these bags shared between your characters. But I recommend doing quests to unlock all these bags, even though it is kind of a pain, because you might have to do the quest on every single character. Like, for example, the Baba Yaga quest, that has to be done on every character. But inventory management is really important. You want to make sure you have enough inventory spaces to actually hold all your items, because if not, then they're just going to be on the floor and they're just going to get destroyed when you log in. So aside from doing quests, you can also get a few from rare drops. Like this one here drops from baby boas, so that might just be something to keep an eye out for. If you feel like farming them, you can farm some of them. And then there's also storage chests, which are primarily gotten through quests and vendors. I don't think any of them actually drop from anywhere. They're just pretty much all from quests and vendors, but these are obviously really nice to have. And you can also upgrade these with the gem shop if you feel like spending gems on it, which I would recommend. Then there's carry capacity for all your different kinds of materials. You want to have at least, for example, material pouches are useful on everybody, but you might only care about a mining pouch, like on your warrior. but even on a mage, you might still want to have like you don't want to have just a capacity of 10 or on a mage even, because it's just going to be a pain to like craft things. Like say you want to craft something and you can only take out 10 at a time, it's just going to be a hassle. So try to get your pouches if you can. And then here you can view all kinds of various different things: teleports, gems, and keys. And then here's NPC tokens, which are just used for getting the quest and the trophies done, which is more of a later game thing. You're not going to really so much worry about that right now. One other thing briefly to talk about is the lock here. You can lock or unlock items, and this is especially useful. Say I want to deposit everything in my storage chest except for these items. See, if I pick deposit all and I don't have them locked, then it's just going to deposit everything, even though I want these items to just stay right here. So what I can just do is pick deposit all, and then it'll put everything except the ones that I have locked. And this is also just useful making it sure you can't like accidentally sell something that you don't want to sell. Now, last but least, we want to talk about a few other things. I want to talk about upgrade stones and balloons and time candy. So upgrade stones let you upgrade either a weapon, a armor, or a tool. And there's a lot of different ways to get these. You can buy them, or they can just drop randomly. So if you can see it here, I buy one of these. They don't have a 100% chance to work usually. Well, okay, these ones do actually, but some of the other ones won't have 100%. So you might have to use a bunch of them to get to for the upgrade to succeed. But all you do is just drag it onto whatever you want to upgrade, and you can see if it'll say success or failed, and that'll just give you like some permanent stat boost to whatever you're upgrading. So it's always good to upgrade if you can afford it. And then what is time candy? Time candy lets you, it acts as if you've been offline for a while. So in this case it'll be an hour, or this one will be 2 hours, 4 hours, and so on. So that'll mean you can get a lot of materials really, really quickly. Just by using these time candies, you can get hours worth of materials instantly. But the time candies are quite rare, so you should use them sparingly. And then XP balloons give you XP, as you might have guessed. Now they can give you different kinds of XP depending on where you are. If you use them in World 1 town, right here, this will give me Smith and XP, which you can see right here. If I go to the mine, however, it'll give me mine and XP. And if I go just anywhere where there's monsters, it'll give me class XP. So that's pretty much how balloons work. And I think that's pretty much it. That pretty much covers everything. So I know it was really, really long, but I wanted to just cover everything, or at least as much as I could, as quickly as possible. So if you watch to the end, that's amazing, and I hope it helps, and thank you for watching.